Oh,
All right, kids. Well,
really?
good
Nice.
morning. Um,
Go live.
welcome. We are now live. We are live right here
Three,
on
two,
the Shawn
one.
Family Show, kids.
Shazam!
And
There.
so I just want to welcome everybody here to the show today. Matt, we are so graced today that the lovely
There we go.
Tristin Lee is jumping in with us today. She has lots of magic to share, and we're really excited about that because, see, the thing about the Kong Family Show, and the reason we put this together is because we've got this really super simple goal. We just want to change the world. And the truth of the matter is that's exactly what we're doing. We're doing it one person. And what's that? How are we doing that again, Shawn?
One glass of 9.5 at a time.
Amen, brother. That's exactly what we're doing.
That's in my best Don Pardo voice.
One glass of 9.5, one incredible individual at a time.
That's it.
And, one lightning bolt in a box at a time. And so we're here to share stories because the thing about it, Tristin, is that it wasn't the facts and figures that got me involved with Kangen water. I wasted 6 perfectly good months of my life that could have been Kong months. And I wasted those months by being a skeptic and by not opening my eyes, and all the facts and figures didn't even register with my brain cell. And then that story came along, that incredible story from the beautiful Brittany Dykes. She made the story that changed the course of my life. And so my goal was to start bringing stories. And the best way to do that is to get people together and have them tell their stories. And so that's what we've got you here for today, is we want to hear your story. And so what I want to start out with is what I'm always most curious about when it comes to the guests on the show is why, how, and when did you get involved with the Kong family? And were you the same kind of skeptic that I was?
Of course, aren't we all? So I love my story. It's great. And I'm actually glad that Dan is on right now. He's on the Zoom with us. So I was working the Rock and Roll Marathon. I was working for Toyota. Before I made Kong part of my career and my business, I had to do brand ambassador work, which means that I was hired as just a person to kind of speak on a product, on a client. I wasn't a full-time, I wasn't an employee. I was an independent contractor, just hired for events to pretty much stand there and look pretty and talk to people. And so I was working for Toyota, and Dan Edlund, who's my mentor, my upline, he introduced me to the water. He had a Toyota vehicle, and so he had some questions, and he came up and he had all this energy. And I remember just being like, I just asked him, I said, where do you get all this energy from? Because he was just go, 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 go. And he said, it's the water that I drink. And I was like, okay, well, what's so great about this water that you drink? And the cool thing about Dan is he's been doing this for a while now. He just is spitballing facts. I mean, he's just going fact, 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 fact. And he never stops. Like he'll just, if you give him the platform to speak, he will just keep going. And I was intrigued. I've always been into health and fitness and wellness and nutrition. And so some of the things that he was telling me rang true for me, the things about water and it having energy and having antioxidants and all these things. I was like, I kind of know about this stuff. And I was one of those people that was like, I drink reverse osmosis water. I drink the cleanest water. And I fill up my gallons and it's the best thing because there's nothing bad in it, right? Little did I know that reverse osmosis water is dead water. There's nothing in it. They take out everything that's bad, but they also take out everything that's good. So there's no minerals, no natural minerals that I was getting. And I didn't even realize this, JJ, but I was dealing with mineral deficiencies. And I just didn't know. I just didn't know any better. So I've always been athletic. I always work out. And I was getting a lot of muscle cramps. And even in the morning when I would just stretch out, there'd be muscle cramping. And that's a sign of mineral deficiencies, but I just didn't know. Right. And so here Dan was like, he was so excited. Try this water, try this water, try this water. He was explaining all the different waters to me. And I was able to try the water for free for 2 weeks. And the reason I did was because I used to teach voice lessons at the School of Rock in Linwood, Washington, which was literally down the street, maybe half a mile from the Enagic office in Linwood, Washington. And he said, you can go there. We give away this water for people to try for free for 30 days. What's it going to cost you? What's it going to harm you? Just try it. And I thought, it's down from where I work. Why not? I'll try it. Sure. Worst case scenario, doesn't do anything, but best case, maybe it's the best water I've ever had in my entire life, right? So I went to the office and tried it for a bit. And then Dan said, you know what? Just come to my place. I've got a pre-filter. My machine doesn't get used as much. You can meet my girlfriend, Liz, hear more testimonies. I'll keep explaining and educating you on things. I said, sure, what the heck? Why not? So for about 2 weeks, I was so into it. Almost every single day, if not every other day, I was going to get fresh water. And I felt the difference. I felt the difference actually at that rock and roll marathon from the first water bottle he gave me of that water. What I noticed was I could see better. So my vision got clearer, colors got brighter and more vivid, and I could see details better. And I think that was just my brain getting truly hydrated. And it just sort of, and it wasn't mind blowing. It was subtle. It was just like, oh, wow, I feel a little bit more awake and I can see things better. Interesting. And then all the other wonderful benefits started happening over those next 2 weeks, getting the water almost every day.
Well, that's amazing. Hey, listen, I was 5'4" and uglier in the Dickens. Now I'm 6'8" and, well, I'm 6'8". I didn't get any better looking, but I'm taller. And, you know, sometimes you got to take whatever victory you can get.
Love it.
And I surely jest.
I love that story, Shawn. That's always fun hearing that. And
what's crazy is some people believe me. And then the old girls, you get around old girls, oh, honey, you're so handsome. You don't worry about it. And I'm like, self-deprecating humor is indeed a strength of mine, but thank you kindly.
And to answer your question, JJ, sorry, you asked if I was skeptical. And there's just another a little part of the story I want to share with you guys. I absolutely was skeptical, and I knew that I had to do my research before I was going to spend $4,000 on a water machine. And so I was looking up alkaline water and water ionizers, and I was watching the videos that Dan had sent me. And of course, as I'm sure everyone does, you're finding all of this negative reviews and fake consumer reports on how other water ionizers are the best, or how alkaline water is not really good for you. And then, and I didn't know any better. So I just thought, oh, this is a scam. And people are always trying to find the scam. They're trying to look for it. They want to protect themselves from the scam, right? Fear is what stops people from following through with this sometimes. And I was the same way.
Yeah, except when they're in the grocery store.
They want to do all the research on this water, but they don't do a drop of research on bottled water or their tap water, which is funny. But in any case, so I was doing the research and I went, oh, you know what? This is probably not good. And then, so get this. Like I said, I used to teach voice lessons at the School of Rock in Linwood, and Michael Coble used to teach guitar lessons there. And so we knew each other a couple years ago. And I had posted something on Facebook about this Kangen water that I was drinking, and he reached out to me. He goes, "Are you drinking Kangen water?" And I was like, well, this guy gave it to me, but I don't know. I'm not sure what this is. And he said, my wife and I started drinking this, I don't know, something like 6 months ago. And my wife had fibromyalgia. And we don't claim that this water cures anything, but she doesn't have fibromyalgia anymore. And the water's the only thing we changed. Yeah. And if people know anything about fibromyalgia, there's no cure. I mean, there's only drugs you can take to deal with symptoms. I mean, This was huge. He said, my daughter's acne has cleared up. He's a guitar player, and he always would get tight and sore in his shoulder. And he goes, that pain has gone away. I found that so fascinating. He had no financial gain telling me about this water and his testimony and his story. We both knew each other before either of us were introduced to the water. And he was just sharing his personal experience with it, and he couldn't stop raving about it. And then he talked about the business opportunity as well. And I told him, I said, look, Dan introduced me to the water first. It's only fair if I move forward with this, that I get it from him. But I appreciate so much you telling me your experience with it, because I think I needed this third party validation from someone that I know and trust to really get me back in line and back interested in getting it. Cause I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to go with Tyant, because I read their fake Consumer Report about how Tyant is better than Enagic, and I just didn't know any better. And then I learned and talked to Dan again, and we got back into the swing of things.
Wow, that's a great story. I love that. Now, I got a question. You said Michael Colgan?
Oh, Michael Coble, C-O-B-L.
Colgan. Oh, okay. For a second there, I thought you were talking about Dr. Michael Colgan, who
wouldn't that be crazy?
wrote the book Optimum Sports Nutrition, and he said something that really always rang true to me a long time ago in that book. He said, if you're working out and you're not getting proper antioxidant protection while doing so, you are literally killing yourself from the inside out.
Yeah.
And, he was a big supporter of USANA clear back in the early 90s when the word antioxidant was hardly even heard by anybody. And now we are so blessed to have by far and away the most powerful antioxidant in the world by literally like hundreds of thousands of times. Yeah. Not just by 5 or 10 times more powerful, but literally hundreds of thousands of times more powerful than anything out there in the world. Yeah. And so it's really super cool to have such an incredible gift, And what I always tell people is that the miracle, because people call this miracle water, magic water, I call it Kong's water. How do you think that gorilla got so big? He was drinking Kong's water from the jungle at the base of that waterfall. And, but the real miracle, the real magic is this machine right here. This machine runs on 120 millivolts of electricity and hydrogen. And if it gets those two things, it's amazing what it can do to fix itself. What we have is this lightning bolt in a box that is a gift to the human machine that was given to us by God and Mr. Oshiro. And I thank God for it every day. And so that's what we like to make sure that we stress, is that it's not the water that's the miracle. It's this machine right here. This is the miracle. This is the most amazing machine that the world has ever known. And what we have is a gift and a tool that gives this machine what it needs so it can fix itself. And so that's something that we stress mightily around here. And, that way we don't get in trouble with Enagic or anybody else, because we don't have a cure. The cure's right here, baby. This is the cure. Yep. And so with all of that said, my next curiosity to you is how is it, because you kind of already hit a little bit on how Kangen water has changed your life. But, did you have any kind of health issues or anything like that you were probably pretty healthy like I was. I didn't really notice much of anything until my wife started pointing some things out to me. But what kind of experiences have you had as far as life-changing things for you, for people that you've introduced the water to? Because these are the kinds of things that change lives. It was a beautiful angel's story about how this water helped her machine fix itself. That's what woke me up. And so what kind of stories do you have in that regard that, might resonate with people out there that are going to be listening to this?
So many and so many more that keep coming in. I just absolutely love what we do.
Is there anything that in particular that really hit you hardest? What's your...
I'll try to briefly talk about my own experience, and then I can go into some of the people that I've helped. So for me personally, like I said, I work out a lot, and I definitely noticed that because the water flushes out, it's so alkaline, it flushes out acid so well and toxins from your cells, that the lactic acid buildup after my workouts was so much less. So I don't know if anybody that's listening works out, but there's this kind of funny phrase of leg day, right? When you're doing leg day, it's like so brutal because there's so much lactic acid in your quads and your calves and your hamstrings. And so, the next day, it's almost like everybody needs a recovery day after leg day. But I noticed when drinking Kangen water, I could do leg day again the next day. I was that much less sore. So that was really cool. And as a singer, like I mentioned to you before we went live, I'm on tour right now with my vocal band 7th Ave. And it's very interesting because last tour that we did in October, everybody got sick. Every single person got sick on that tour. And living with these people, of course I got sick too. We're not immune to getting sick, but I got over my cold faster than everyone else. My symptoms were far less severe, and I didn't have to make any adjustments in the show. Every other person in the show had to cut a song, make adapting to the notes, like changing some of the notes because they couldn't hit them or they weren't feeling well enough. We had to move some of the order around. I didn't have to make any sacrifices or any compromises or any adaptations to the show. I was able to do the full show, even though I had caught the cold as well. So it's much more lubricating and hydrating to the vocal cords, and just, you know, because it's hydrating so well that even when we're up in the higher elevations in the upper mountains in Colorado and Montana and Wyoming and everything, it was actually funny. This tour, I felt a little lightheaded at one of the shows because we were at such a higher elevation. It was harder to breathe. And I was feeling that headache, a little dizzy. And I went, I think I'm dehydrated. And that happens obviously naturally when you go up in elevation. And I got to chug more Kangen water. And I did. And the headache went away.
Yep.
In a few minutes. So that's just a few of the things that I've personally noticed. I also lost a bunch of weight when I first got on the water. I lost like 8 pounds in 2 weeks. And it was crazy. It was just melting off of me. I felt like I did nothing. It was just like gone, which was really cool. And there's lots of things. If people want to know more about my personal testimony, I've written it all out on my website. And we can talk about this again at the end. TristanRupp.com. Click on the Kangen water section and they can read my story. I just list out my story. But some of the really meaningful, heartwarming, exciting things that I've heard from people that I've helped share this water with. And I'm glad Dan is listening because Dan helped me with this. There was a lady named Sue in Everett, and she had 2 sons who were autistic. And we put a loaner machine in her house for about 10 to 14 days. She had a K8 in there. And I remember when I was first there at her house, her son Lucas, who was very far on the spectrum, nonverbal. I mean, he would either run away when I got there or he would completely ignore me and just stare at the TV. So then when we came back after 2 weeks to pick up the machine, what we noticed was when I came to the door, instead of him running away or ignoring me, he actually ran towards me and had a big smile on his face, and he recognized me. Wow. She couldn't believe it either. And she told me that towards the end of her trial, normally when she would ask him to help her with something, he would run away or ignore her. And she said, Lucas, can you hand me the salt shaker? And he grabbed it, twisted off the cap, and handed it to her. And she said he has never done that.
Wow.
Oh, hang on one second. Do you guys have a meeting in here?
We're just looking.
Okay, cool.
And Tristan?
A couple people in the room. Hey, Dan, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? I wanted to just cut in if I could, just for a second, JJ. Sorry about that, but I know sometimes when we're on the spot, we forget about little things. But I mean, Tristan cannot do this without talking about her cousin Lisa, because that is one of the most compelling stories, not only that she has, but that I've ever seen with the water. So, not to interrupt, but make sure and touch on Lisa. And Lisa would be somebody amazing to actually have on here one day. But
yeah,
you really should touch on her story just for a minute.
Yeah, JJ, definitely get Lisa on the show. Lisa Glanzer, she's my cousin, and she also had undiagnosed fibromyalgia. She used to be in the Army. She's dealt with a lot of PTSD. I mean, you can actually just ask her all her ailments and how much the water has helped her. She said her pain went from a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being unbearable pain, 1 being she's fine, from a 10 to a 6 on the water, and then a 10 to a 4 when she included the turmeric, the Ukon supplement.
Wow.
which is huge. And now I think it's even better because all the other supplements that she's taking with the water are working better because of the nutrient utilization that the water provides.
Yes. Yes. It's like we love to say around here, Kong makes everything better.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is, it makes it better.
Dan, am I missing anything else about Lisa?
No, the only thing that I would have maybe touched on is the fact that, I mean, we all know that this can be beneficial, but we actually have to put the water in our bodies. And the story that I found so compelling with Lisa was, I believe the story I remember is she was at about a 9 pain level, but when she started drinking the water, she went to about a 12 for a small period of time.
Yeah.
And I think was about to stop. And a lot of times when people are pushing acidity and toxins and going through things like that, they have adverse reaction because their body, their temple is so messed up. But the problem is they feel like, oh, well, I drank your water and I didn't feel better, so I'm going to stop. In her case, it was a little bit different. She was dealing with very, very severe stuff. But we went from a 9, I believe her quote to me was, to a 12. And she made the decision to keep on and keep pushing through, and was grateful that she did, because the light at the end of the tunnel came, and now her pain level is much, much less. By the way, the first thing I'm doing this morning is going to the post office and mailing her a box of Ukon. So,
thank you so much. Thank you for doing that.
So she's sticking to what she's doing, but it's just, sometimes the body gets away from us and we have to feel a little bit worse before we do better. But there's a lot of women out there stricken with what she has, and her story is vital. We need to get her story out there, because I think she tells it in a way where she went through a lot of stuff before she came out on the other side.
Absolutely.
Might I interject? The term I've learned from that, as you guys probably already know, but that's, for the folks listening, that's called the Herxheimer effect. And Michael Kinnett was gracious enough to drop that on us, but it's all about your body getting a little south before it gets back north. So, you nailed it right there, Danny.
It's the detox. It's the detox period on the water. And I got another gal, Karen, in Georgia, who was renting a machine for a couple of months. And she also had fibromyalgia. And she said the pain was unbearable the first couple of days, but she powered through, which is what we recommend that everybody does. Increase the amount of water, maybe keep it at 8.5. Don't go up to 9.5 yet, but just increase the amount of water, flush those toxins out. And then after a few days, she couldn't believe it. She just couldn't believe the pain relief she had gotten.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of, all this stuff is really par for the course, because it's so amazing what this machine right here can do when it starts getting what it needs. And, I've heard this a multitude of times over the last 2 years, where people get headaches or stomach aches or diarrhea or whatever. And in the beginning, I didn't understand that. And I actually lost a prospect because she got stomach aches or whatever. And she just said, nope, I'm done with it. And I didn't really understand at the time that what I needed to do was really encourage her to push through it and explain to her why that was happening. Because at that time, I didn't understand what was going on. And I didn't have anything to say about it. I was just like, well, okay, if that's what you choose, that's what you choose. And, now I would have had a lot better ammunition, in my arsenal to let her know that she probably should have kept, encourage her to power through it, like you say.
Yeah.
And so now whenever I give people the water to try, I always let them know ahead of time, hey, you could have horrible headaches, the pain could get worse, but if it is, that means you need more of it. You need more. And so that's
when people do a juice fast. If it's the first time you're juicing green vegetables and stuff too. I remember the first time I did that many years ago. I got a cold, and I'm like, this is backwards. I'm supposed to feel better. I feel worse. I was detoxing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So that's pretty exciting stuff, and so that kind of, I really appreciate those stories, and I definitely would love to get Lisa and anybody else that you think has a powerful story to share. I really appreciate you hooking me up with them so that we can get them on here. Totally. And get their story out there. But I love this next question. This is one of my favorite questions that I ask of everybody that comes on. And it's really interesting, the different replies that we get to this question. And so I'm going to just roll with it. You've got a situation where you've got somebody that's taken a look. They're curious, and you have one opportunity to say one thing to them to hopefully nudge them over the fence where they buy that flight suit and jump off the cliff and take a ride, you know? What is that one thing that you're going to say to that person?
Currently, right now, I've got a couple people that are interested, and what I'm trying right now is to ask them questions. I got a gal who's interested, and I don't know hardly anything about her, because see, some people are local to Seattle, and I work with them, or I see them on a daily basis, or I know them and I can talk to them. But I got people reaching out to me all over the world, and I have to just communicate with them via Facebook Messenger or Instagram. And in those cases, I have to get to know them via social media, and I have to get to know them. It's going to take time. So I will ask them, what are you looking for? What are you interested in? What have you heard about the water? What ailments are you suffering from? I need to get to know you better so I know how to best help you. And I'm hoping that then they're going to feel like, oh, she cares. She's not just trying to make a sale. She actually wants to know more about me so she knows how to best help me. And hopefully that keeps the conversation moving along. I mean, otherwise, a go-to that Dan did with me, and a lot of people do, is just the 9.5 YouTube video, which is that video. Dan, who made that video, the 9.5 one?
Yeah, it's by a girl named Ashley Strand. It's pretty well wide used, but yeah, it's just 9.5.com. It's a good 7-8 minute synopsis of what the machine does, and it's a great way to open up the conversation with people.
Yes. You know, that's why I love that question so much, is that every time we get a different answer to it. Everybody has something interesting to say, and every time we learn something new and something beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say too, you know, they're going to respond with something. That's how I know how next to proceed. They might say, oh, I'm dealing with diabetes. Great. I'm going to send them a diabetes video or the PubMed or Google Scholar studies water and diabetes. Or they're going to say, I've got sons with autism, or I've got whatever it is. I'm an athlete. I'm whatever. Then I kind of know what direction to go in, because there's so many aspects. There's so much information out there. There's so many things you could tell them. I got to figure out what's going to interest them the most. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I love that, you know, because the truth of the matter is there is no one magic thing to say to people. That's why I love to ask that question, because every time I ask that question, I get some new answer. And I actually love what you just said there, is that I can't really say any one thing to them basically until I get to know them. I got to find out what their gig is, and then I'll find that one thing that I can tell them. And so that's some great stuff right there. That's another one of the reasons why I was so excited to get you on here, is because I knew you were gonna come with some true golden nuggets and, you know, some extreme value. And that's what we're trying to do, is get value out there, get information out there that will help change people's lives. Because that's how we're going to change the world, is by changing people's lives. And so it's really super exciting hearing that.
Educating them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And so another thing that a big aspect of this show for me is I'm trying to connect people. I'm trying to find people that resonate with other people, because I say this all the time. Some of the people that might see this, they might not resonate with me, even if I've been working with them. I've been talking to them for a year, trying to get them to jump on the Kong family train, and I haven't had any luck with that. But then they come on here and they see this, and it gives them an opportunity to maybe resonate with you, because maybe they resonate with you. And quite frankly, I don't care where people get their machine from. I've said this before. I'm familiar with the laws of attraction and the laws of positivity and how that kind of stuff works. And so if you're just trying to help people, and my thing is I want people to get their machine. I don't care where they get it from, whether they get it from me or you or whoever they get it from. I just want them to get it. And, you know, I've had people that got water from me for a period of time, and then they ended up going and buying their machine from someone else. And I didn't get mad at them. I said, congratulations, you got your machine. That's great. If you ever need any help, I'm here. Let me know. I'm here to help. And so I didn't really care about that. And I want to, but this is why I like to get to this next part of our discussion here is somebody might resonate with you, hon, and they might want to get their machine from you. They might have seen this and heard what you're talking about and said, you know, this is the person that I want to resonate with. This is the person I want to meet with. This is the person I want to have as my mentor and be on my, you know, be on her team. Great. So for those people, I like to offer you the opportunity to share. How do they get a hold of you? What do they need to know about Tristin so they can hook up with her? What information do you have out there? And please share it. Please give whatever information you want to give, whether it's websites, whether it's phone numbers, whatever, you know, Instagram, whatever. Give it out. Let the world know how they get a hold of you, honey.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm a millennial, so social media is my thing. People can go to my website, and like I said, that's where I have a ton of videos, like relevant, important videos, and I have them in an order that makes sense, so that if someone's checking it out, it's like this one, then this one, then this one. You go in order, and it just really explains things nicely about the water. I've got scientific studies on there. I've got PubMed articles, Google Scholar articles, lots of reports and stuff on there. And then I've got my story on there. And then I've got testimonies from people that I've shared the water with. And then I've got like my contact information and a little bit about if they're interested in doing the business side of it. So if people want to learn how to get their machine for free through the referral program, or if they're interested and they want to maybe explore having an entrepreneur lifestyle and living a life by design. And you know, honestly, when people get the machine, they usually end up wanting to share the water anyway. It's hard to keep this a secret. And so, you know, through doing that, we can all help people learn how best to share the water and how to make this a business for people if they want to do that as well. So I've got a little bit on that on there. And then, so that's TristinRupp.com, my name, TristinRupp.com, nice and easy. They can also find me on Facebook. I don't care if they find me via Tristin Lee, which is my personal page, or Tristin Rupp, which is my artist page. It's funny, I used to have both. Both was Tristin Rupp, and I was getting hundreds. And I'm not trying to brag, okay? But I was getting hundreds of friend requests a day because my brothers were famous. They were on the Sing Off, which is that reality TV show for a cappella music, and they won. And when they made it big, I got all these friend requests from people I did not know. So I changed my name to Tristin Lee, made it harder to find me. I still have almost 5,000 Facebook friends. It is what it is, but they can find me there or Tristin Rupp, my artist page, either or. I'm on there all the time. And so if they message me, I'll get it. I'll respond as soon as I can. I also have Instagram at Tristin Rupp. You can find me there as well. Instagram and Facebook are the two social media apps I use the most. And then on my website, it has my phone number and my email. If people really want to, you know, reach me really, really personally, that's fine too.
Awesome. I love that. And, you know, to people out there that are seeing this or hearing this, you know, Tristin's just like all of us. She's got tremendous passion for this company. And ultimately, we just want to help each other. It's like with Shawn and I, we're partners in crime. We're the Kong brothers, you know, and the truth is, I'm not in his group, he's not in mine, but we work together pretty much every day just because we're part of this incredible family of people and we understand that. And most everybody that I've met in this family, they're exactly that. They're like family members that want to help each other. And we're here to reach down and grab each other and lift each other up and help each other get up those rungs of the ladder versus stepping on their hands as they're trying to get up the ladder. And so it's really neat being part of such an incredible family of people. And,
completely.
You know, basically what we've gone through here already is kind of, you know, the bulk of what I like to learn and like to try and get out there. And at this point, I'd like to ask Shawn or Dan if they have anything that they would like to add to this discussion as far as questions for you or anything that has come to their brain cell while they've been listening in on this that they'd like to know.
Sure.
Well, JJ, if I could cut in really quick, because I have to get going in about 4 or 5 minutes, but I wanted to obviously tune in and, and support Tristin and support the show. And I like what you guys are doing. And I'm hoping people will see this on the replay and we can turn this into a bigger platform. But the only thing I will say is for anybody that sees this, because I know with a lot of distributors, they're very reluctant. They come in, they get a passion for the water. They love it. They start to talk to people about it. I call it getting your teeth kicked in a little bit. And they go into a rabbit hole of talking about this with people, but yet they just continue to love the water. And so I want this to be a lesson in the interview, identify, because, I could have just as easily walked by her. I could have just as easily not discussed the water. I could have walked up and asked my question about the Toyota product that I was looking at, and I could have walked away. But I noticed that she had a bottle of water in her hand. I noticed this, I noticed that. So my tentacles are always up. And I just want that to be a lesson to people, because the thing is, if you're sitting on this show interviewing her and somebody doesn't see that that's a 6A2-3, that's where that girl's life is headed. She has everything in the planet. I mean, all the skill sets, 1,000 things you can't buy. But the thing is, the difference between, connecting with her and not is a split second. So the thing is, always, always, always be, if this is what you want to do and you want to help share it, because the thing is, it's amazing to connect with somebody and sell a water machine, but how beautiful is it to meet somebody, connect with them, and that person goes on to change thousands of lives, right? And so that's what I would tell people, because I know a lot of people, they get a little bit shy or in public things. Oh, that's not the right time to bring it up. I always am on,
Yeah.
and not just, and I don't just mean in a business. And the thing is, I'm always on, I'm always looking. I always look at the hand. What are they doing? What are they talking about? What's their situation? Do you love your job? And so, so before I'll go, I'll just say, I think that I've done a lot to affect her life. She certainly has mine. I absolutely love that girl. And I'm grateful that you had her on and gave us both the opportunity. And I'm really looking forward to Wednesday. But that's the biggest life lesson in this too, is because a lot of people just need to voice what we have. They just need to voice what we have, because they don't know what's going to be that life-changing moment. Maybe they're going along and it's not really doing a lot for them, and they're a 2A or a 3A, and they just haven't really connected with that person yet. And then somebody like this comes along, and now all of a sudden you have a 3A who you sign as a 3A, who's going to become a 6A, and that person, changes your life on a spiritual level, but also on a financial level. So, the trick is, you miss 1,000% of the swings you don't take, right? And so I guess there's a little lesson in there.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah,
Amen.
well said, Dan. Thank
So,
you for contributing, Dan.
Yeah, that's really neat, because I'm sure that Tristin is just as grateful as can be that you did open up, that you didn't just pass it by. And for me, it's one of those things, I simply can't not tell people about this. And it stems from my past, from my mother, is really the main thing, the main reason why I love this company so is because of my mom. She was like Dr. Barry Oz. She was sick. First time I ever watched Barry Oz video, I cried all the way through the whole thing. And it was because my mother was just like that. She was born sick. She had every color of fever you can think of. She was in and out of the hospital her whole life. It was amazing that I was the second to the last of 12 kids and healthy. And, it just, I believe my mother would still be here with me today if I would have had this knowledge. This was available. I just didn't know about it. And you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yep.
And you're praying and hoping that people are going to share the answer to your prayers if they have it. And I simply can't shut up about it. There's a lot of people who don't even want anything to do with me because they know that all they're going to hear about is God's water. And it's like, hey, whatever. I just can't help it. And that's the power of this company and the power of just what this is all about. And so I'm so grateful for people like you that are willing to take your precious time and come out here and share this powerful message with the world. And our goal is to get it out there as much as possible. And so words can't really convey how grateful I am for you guys spending your time coming in here today. And you know, Shawn, my brother, my partner in crime here, he always has so much value to add to this place, and that's why I love having him around. But I was wondering, Shawn, if you've got anything to add, anything that you'd like to tell Tristin or ask her right now.
Well, you know, I mean, obviously you've addressed a lot of things, and just listening to your passion, Tristin, listening to your focus and just your purpose. I dig all that. I mean, that's exactly what we're doing. And thank God Edlin had the sense of mind to reach out with that tentacle and grab you. The visualization was just awesome for me. I just pictured this. You know,
You gotta have your radars on, you know. You gotta know when you see 6A2.
No, that's funny because, you know, he said it too. It's like there's times where the first machine I sold was just a guy standing in the grocery line. I hadn't had my machine. I didn't even know I could sell the thing. But I was telling him about the water, and I says, you know, yeah, I just got this machine. I'd been sharing it with, you know, 4 or 5 people that first 5-6 days, and I'm standing next to him in the grocery line. He's an old guy, and he's buying a case of Albertson's bottled water, and I'm just like, yeah. So I was like, oh, well, big water drinker, are you? And long story short, he didn't even want to try it. He's like, well, let's just get that, and I'll get this thing. It'll be the last case of bottled water I buy, and yeah, I don't need to try it. I already know I want it. And this is 5 minutes after standing after the line. He waited for me, and I only had a few things to get.
You just never know.
No, you don't. Yet you got family members with like lupus or, you know, diabetes and, you know, gout, and they look at you like you're the plague, you know. Oh no, I got medicine for this and blah blah blah, you know. So it's just weird. You just can't prejudge. You can't do any of that. But, you know, listen, on a level of me, look, I love live music. I love music, period. What you were talking about, your vocal cords, you know, I mean, I had a friend of mine, my buddy in Germany, his brother, you know, I've told you about Marcus, his brother-in-law, Benj Rose, is a pretty big deal in Europe and Germany specifically. And he was suffering from some laryngitis type stuff. And Marcus got him on the water, and within like 2-3 days, this guy was back to golden lungs again. I mean, the kid really can sing. He's really got tremendous range. And yeah, speak to that a little bit. I mean, obviously, you didn't sound like you had any real problem, but just as a music lover, as a guy that understands, you know, you cannot blink when you're in that profession. And your voice is primarily what you have. That's what you got. Speak a little bit about that, maybe, just in terms of how you just really feel like you found everything that you need to just stay on it and stay on point. You guys went on tour this time, didn't get sick. Can you kind of get back into that a little bit? I mean, that just intrigues the heck out of me. And it had to have been awesome for the rest of your crew to know that you've got this goose laying all these golden eggs that they're cracking and frying in their water bottle and, you know, getting up on the stage and getting down on it like Cool and the Gang. Could you touch base on that a little bit?
Yeah, 2 things I wanted to say, because the first one was, you know, you had said that I never really had any health issues or health problems vocally, but that's the thing. You don't know you're sick. You don't know you're not feeling as well as you can feel. And then you drink the water and you feel better and you go, I didn't know I could feel like this.
Yeah.
And then even better than that is when you get the water taken away and you feel like crap again.
Correct.
That's when you really know there's something going on here. My boyfriend right now, I've got my machine with me, and otherwise it's been in his house, and he's been telling me his body is craving it. He's not feeling as well without the water, and that's when you really can tell, is when it gets taken away from you.
Yes.
But so I mean, yeah, I thought I was fine. I thought everything was fine. I thought I was doing great, and then I got on the water, and then it just enhanced my vocal abilities. And when you give your body the environment, the perfect environment for it to heal itself, like JJ was saying, And for it to just be working at maximum efficiency, you just don't get sick, or if you do, you get over it fast. It's not as severe. I'm just properly hydrated. So for example, as a singer, you know, sometimes it can get dry. There can be a lot of tension. You know, you can deal with a lot of
clear in your throat. Yeah.
All the time. It's just so much better. I just don't have to deal with that as much. I just feel like there's an ease to singing now. It's easier. And I'm doing I have Dave Stroud is my vocal coach in Los Angeles. And every time I go to LA, I try to schedule a lesson with him. He's given me a lot of really great warm-ups too that have helped. And it was interesting, the last lesson I had with him, I had flown that day, went straight to the voice lesson, and I was singing and doing his warm-ups and going to town. And he was like, I cannot believe how good you sound right now after you just got off a plane from flying. He's like, wow. When I fly, I can't sing that day. And I just grabbed my water bottle and I said, and I just kind of went to that, and he goes, you've been staying hydrated. And I said, not only have I been staying hydrated, but I drink special water. I mean, I drink Kangen water. He's like,
Kangenized.
More about that. Tell me more about that. And so, you know, other people, professionals, are noticing my improvements as well, which is cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
does that answer your question?
No, big time. Definitely. Now, also as a fan, were you in Lewistown? Was your group 7th Ave in Lewistown to play a gig, or were you there for Kangen water?
We were there for a gig. We had a concert there.
God, then I need to get you guys up to Moose Lips and have you guys play at one of our fun venues right around here. Missoula's got a pretty good scene. Lewistown. Yeah, awesome. I can probably tell you, I know probably a good half dozen people that were at your show, and I didn't even realize it, but they're live music fans. And I'm going to get off this, and I'm going to hit Kirby up. I'm like, hey, man, where did you guys play? Do you remember?
It's either a theater or a high school. And usually
wow.
Places
nice. No, that's cool.
My brother Chris might know, or Marie or Adam if they're watching. They might.
Totally not even relevant. Just the fact that you guys came, and you're based out of Seattle. Then you guys just ended up getting a gig.
My brother is out of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Marie is out of New Jersey, and Adam is out of New York and Detroit, and I'm out of Seattle. So we're all across the country.
Nice.
Together, and we do these shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
All over the world, like ELO.
We've toured in Europe. We've toured in Australia. We've toured all over the U.S. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, it's just neat as heck having a girl of your caliber on here. I mean, I love your passion, and that's what we're trying to do. You know, we're trying to help reinforce our collective purpose. We're trying to galvanize that direction we're taking with this thing, because it's really not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. And you hear that in a lot of respects, but just continued testimonies like this, just the passion, the absolute conviction that, you know, you're demonstrating, you're sharing with us. It will resonate with people. It's just a matter of, you know, those being willing to open. You know, it's like I posted something up here a while ago, and I just looking at it again last night because I've talked to a couple of people that are just, it just doesn't click. You know, and I just basically, you know, I'm done trying to, you know, convince the masses. The masses want that real, you know, they're indoctrinated. They've just got this thing, you know, I've got my bottled water, I've got my Excedrin migraine, I've got my Claritin, I've got everything, I'm good. You know, it's the guy that I'm talking to and I'm going to go meet this afternoon, 57 years old. He's on 13 medications, going through all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, bud, listen, and I've let him have some water here and there. And yeah, he's getting ready to party. He's getting his dancing shoes on tonight. We're going to sign him up, get him a machine, and just get him rocking on it, man, because he's noticed the difference. He's totally felt more energized in the morning, and he's a real late night guy.
It's not if, it's when. It's not if.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
That's it. So, yeah, I mean, it's just this stuff here. I just look forward to sharing this one and this interview with a handful of people. You were talking about the tie-in. I had a buddy of mine's wife really jocking me hard on information for a while. I even brought a loaner machine to them for a good month and a half last summer. And then she hit me hard around December, and I gave her all the information I could. And I touched base on a few of these other knockoffs, you know, because she kept talking about affordability. Then she ghosted. She ghosted for like 2 months. And so I reached out to her one day and I was like, yeah, not sure what happened, but you were gangbusters. Well, she went and bought a Giant Water Life something.
It's because
no, I know.
they can get sick from that stuff, and then they waste all that money, and then they're still going to have to go back and buy an Enagic one anyway. So they just spent way more money than they need to.
Right. And I've tried to tell her, I says, look, sometimes within these guys' warranties and all that, you can get your money back. But I said, just for the record, here's something, and I've sent her a couple of videos. Here, for the record, with Caustica, we had Gerald on here, you know, the master of completely breaking all that down.
Yeah.
And I sent it to her, and I was like, look, for the record, not rubbing anything in, not trying to, I'm just trying to help you understand what I was unable to help you avoid. And that's a huge chasm between the technology of Enagic and the medical grade capability that it brings to the table versus this knockoff hack type shit people are out there selling, you know. And like you said, I've seen Sam Tran cut these things on tomorrow. He's coming on tomorrow. I've seen him cut these tubes in half, and you can just see the rust. You can see these other machine mold. Good Lord, how gross is that? Yeah. So again, yeah, your story's powerful. I really appreciate your energy, and yeah, I'm gonna start following your band and seeing what we can do to. I need to get you guys up here into our scene. We got a real good scene that comes up here. Yeah, you guys would dig Missoula without a shovel, man. It's just kind of got its own little oasis here in Montana.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was going to add too, something that's kind of cool about what you were saying. You know, I have a reputation to protect. I have a reputation. I mean, I'm not like super famous or anything. Don't get me wrong, but I have fans, and I'm a part of this group, and my reputation, my band members depend on me being responsible and honest. And the first person I sold a machine to was a fan of mine out in New Jersey. And she said to me, she said, you've got a reputation to protect. So I know that you're not BSing me. I know you're not lying to me or trying to scam me. I mean, that would just be horrible for you and your career and everyone that would be affected by that. And I went, you're right. Wow. I do have a reputation to protect. So if people think that I'm BSing them or that this is a snake oil magic trick, which is what my dad said it was when he introduced him to the water, which is another story I want to tell you about. But then I'm just a huge idiot. And that's just not the case.
Right.
So there's sort of that, I believe you because I know that you wouldn't do that to yourself, to your own career, to your own reputation, to your success as a singer and as a public figure, you know, and that's absolutely true. And so, you know, that kind of helps.
No, totally. And what's ironic, you know, and again, you talk about this gal from New Jersey across the country, taking your word for it, having that perspective.
I was 44 days in.
Wow.
So it was my 44th day of owning my machine that I sold my first machine.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she gets it, and yet your dad is looking at you like it's snake oil. It kind of goes back to that scripture, and no man shall be a prophet in his own house. You know what I mean? I mean, that's.
Yeah. Can I tell you guys that story?
Of course. Please indulge.
So my cousin Lisa was seeing all my posts on Facebook, so she was kind of really interested and getting really on board. So she was going to drive to my parents' house in Mankato, Minnesota, where I'm from, to do a demonstration to kind of present the water and everything with the pH drops and the ORP meter and the chlorine drops and the whole works, right? And I wanted my mom and dad to watch it as well. My dad was so against it, he refused to watch it. He went downstairs. He was kind of babysitting the kid, my cousin's kids, but he said it was a snake oil magic trick. He hates these MLM companies.
Oh.
He has his own, you know, his own preconceived bias, his own, you know, there are some companies that were kind of pyramid scheming in the past.
Right.
Not Enagic, but
no.
He's actually said to me after I did the presentation, I went home, I kind of kept talking to him about it. My mom wanted one. My dad said, absolutely not. She was crying. She was upset. My mom called me. She said, we can't get one. Your father refuses. So I talked to my dad, and he just said, I'm so upset that this company would manipulate my daughter into this scam and use my heartstrings against me.
44-year-old scam.
Yeah. And he said, do not ever bring this up again.
Oh, bless his heart.
I was crying. I was so upset. I'm a daddy's girl, and it just broke me. And it took some reflection and some analyzing and some time to process. And I got to turn this into fuel.
Yeah.
Push me further into what I know is right for me, into what I know is right for everyone. Yeah. And I did. And I just went even harder into it. More posting, more emphasis, more everything, more talking about it. And through time and persistence, I ended up going to one of the Enagic conventions in Vegas. I met Shawn Stratton. I got to interview him. When I went and visited my parents, they have a winter home in Phoenix, Arizona. That's where Shawn and his family live. I invited them. They invited us over for dinner. My dad got to meet Shawn and Jody Stratton, talk to them, learned that their daughter is doing this as a full-time business. It's real. They had a week to drink the water. I decided to try a different angle. I said, instead of trying to convince my dad about this water, I'm going to say, instead, Dad, I'm looking for your advice as a salesman, because my dad's an insurance salesman. Nice. I'm looking for your advice as a salesman as to how I can succeed in this business. How better can I be a salesman? Help me. Instead of buy this water, I have to convince you. I instead was like trying to find a different tactic, a different route to it. And eventually he finally was like, okay, nice. You've got me.
Victory.
And now he's saying, it's helped with his acid reflux. It's helped my mom with a lot of different things. I mean, they're loving the water now. So for all the people out there that are skeptical or are dealing with people who are skeptical, dealing with the criticism, I've gotten tons of criticism, laughed at. Oh, I've been made the butt of so many jokes from so many people. I got to tell them, I got to say, hey, this is my business. You wouldn't like it if I did that to you in your business, right? Yeah. If I was making fun of you in front of people who were prospects, who were interested, you'd be pissed. Why are you doing it to me? It's no different. And then they go, you're right. Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay. But so for all the people.
If you can't say something nice, don't say it at all.
Yeah. I mean, do you really think you know better? If you don't know better, but you're just skeptical or you want to be funny, then just don't say anything. Then just say, I don't know. I don't know what this water does. I haven't done any research. I haven't tried it. I haven't looked into it myself. But my sister seems really convinced. So you should really talk to her about it, not me. I mean, that's what you could say. I'm not going to be mad at that. That's true.
Right.
But when you're just, when you're just like, oh, that's baloney. Water's just water, blah, blah, blah. That's where I'm just like, come on, But the point that I'm trying to make is for people who are dealing with that, it's persistence. It takes time. People need to see that you're sticking with it. Because for me, I had done another, network marketing company before. And after 6 months, it wasn't right for me and I quit. So here I am jumping into another one. Of course, people were like, oh, great. What's it now? You got to give it time. You got to stay persistent and consistent. Educate yourselves so that when people bring their excuses or their, what's the word I'm looking for? When they come back at you with things against it, you know what to say. Yes. You've got your answers. You've got your, you've got your, you know how to deal with the pushback and everything. And just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep trucking on.
Yes. Man, that is some seriously sound advice right there, kids. That's golden nugget extraordinaire on Kong steroids. And I just absolutely love that. And I'm so tickled to hear that about your dad.
Me too, because obviously family, it's like you want them to be healthy and feel great. And when you get older, you feel worse. And it's like, but you could feel better than you've ever felt in your life. you know? And so I'm just so glad that they are drinking this water now and they're on board and they're supportive of me. I mean, they've always been supportive. And then this one thing they weren't as supportive of, but now they are. And it's such a good feeling. I mean, it's just such a relief, right? I mean, all of us distributors, I'm sure, can agree that you're on this, you're on this tiny little island all by yourself, and you know all of this information that you just want the entire world to know. Can everyone just know everything I know, please? And we can just move forward with getting everyone their machine. But no, you're on this tiny little island, and then suddenly somebody joins you. And then somebody else joins you. And then another person and another person. And suddenly your tiny little island now has a population of people, and you don't feel so alone anymore. And when your family's there, it is just such a good feeling, and it's such a relief knowing that they have the best water in the world, the richest source of antioxidants, and they're getting truly hydrated. It is such a good feeling.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, go ahead, Shawn.
No,
I was just going to say, you know, I've had one person send a machine back, and that was my dad.
Oh.
And that was a really sad thing to see. And it was all because of lack of information from my family. My family, that's probably been the biggest heartbreak to me with this company, is that I've built where I'm at in this company with, you know, strangers who have become my friends, and they've become my family, but they started out as strangers. As far as all of my friends and family, I haven't been able to get, I've got one friend who has bought a machine, and then I've got one friend that I met through Facebook that we've met. She lives here locally, and she's bought a machine, and that's it. But as far as like all my old friends, all my family, it's snake oil, it's that network marketing, and it's, you know, I have one dear friend who told me, I'm never, ever going to buy one of these machines because it's a pyramid scheme. Yep. And I don't get involved with pyramid schemes.
The irony, and the job he works for, he is at the bottom rung of that pyramid. You know what I mean? These guys are so smart for their own good sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly it. I want to join a pyramid scheme. But then I learned actually how great network marketing can be, and how right up the alley it is for me, because I can still pursue my singing career, my acting career, my modeling career, all those things, which is still an entrepreneur lifestyle in itself. With that, right, I can do this as well. And it's just like, what's the word?
Synchronicity.
It just goes so well together. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Boy, that is
kind of like this interview today, you know, peanut butter and chocolate with the little nuts and bananas in here. You know what I mean? They just go well together.
Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly.
I love it. I can't wait to see more of your singing out there as you share stuff out. I love to watch it. I love to watch your videos.
If people want to see, they probably just could type Tristin Rupp on YouTube and find my YouTube channel as well. If they want to hear some of my music and stuff, they can go.
What kind of stuff do you guys play? Pop, rock, soul, R&B?
What we do mostly is that we'll take songs and kind of make them our own style. So we took a Meg Trainor song and we made it in a rockabilly style.
Nice.
We took a Christina Aguilera song and we made it sound like it was like a Billie Holiday type version of it.
Oh, wow.
Similar to what, I don't know if you guys know Postmodern Jukebox. Kind of what they do is they'll take a lot they'll make it sound a different genre or a different time period. That's not all we do. We do a cappella music. We do a lot of choreography in our show. We do a lot of dancing. We do some acting. We do some musical theater. We do some jazz. We do pop. We do religion too. We do some religious music. So it is a variety show for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's
awesome.
Neat.
I love it. Hey, when I said we were having a rock star on the show, I wasn't joking, not even one little bit. We have a rock star right here on the Card Family Show. Oh, I just love it. This is it's been such a blessing today, Tristin. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here with us. And you know, when you announced to me that you were going to come on like 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, I've been at the top of the world ever since. Going, it's been like the longest 2 weeks of my life, you know.
Oh,
You're sitting on top of the world like Lenny Kravitz. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And so, yes, it's pretty exciting being able to get people in here and get their stories out there and to be able to help them share themselves. This is being recorded. As soon as we're complete, it's going to get downloaded. You know, I'll get the message. I'll get it uploaded to my to the Kong family channel, and then I'll get you a copy of it and share it out to the different groups and that. And so obviously feel free to share it to your heart's content.
Great.
And you know, we want to let people know who you are, where you are, and how they can get a hold of you and how they can you know, work with you if that's what they choose. Because ultimately, it's all about sharing the love. It's about getting Kong's water out there for the world, because we all know that we're going to change the world. People kind of giggle at me when I tell them that our goal is to change the world. They kind of giggle like, yeah, whatever. And what they don't understand is that is exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Exactly what's happening. And,
yeah.
And so it's by far and away the most rewarding thing that I have ever done in my life. There is absolutely nothing that I've ever done that measures up to having somebody calling you, crying, saying thank you for changing my life. And
saving,
doesn't get any better.
Life, almost, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with that message, I think that's a great place to
I agree.
end with this. But I'd like to give you one last opportunity before we leave to just, if you've got any last golden nugget, any last thing that you would like to say to people, one last little parting gift. If you have something more that you'd like to drop, let her fly.
I will say this. I saw Dan post this on one of his Facebook posts today. There is nothing more expensive than a closed mind.
Ooh, the lolly. That's right.
Amen.
That's right. The cost inherent within.
And you know, there's one other thing.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You're the guest, son. You get first.
A healthy amount of skepticism is good, of course, absolutely. But there's nothing more expensive than a completely closed mind. So I just tell people, just have an open mind. When I posted this, I said, this is a great opportunity for people to tune in, listen to what we have to say with no pressure, no expectations. They don't feel like there's any pressure. I'm trying to get them to buy something. They can just listen and learn and do with that information what they will.
Yep.
An open mind.
Because Shawn said this in a recent show. He said, I have a company that I don't ever have to apologize for. I have a product that I don't ever have to apologize for. Yeah. Not only do we not have to apologize, we have something that we can be truly proud of in our hearts. And that's one of the things I love so much about the format of this show, is that it's all coming from the heart. And that's where passion lies, is in the heart. And I hope that people that are seeing this, that they feel the passion, they feel the love, they feel the truth resonating, and that they'll at least, like you say, have an open mind and give it a shot, give it a try. If you want to try the water, there's somewhere around somebody where you'll be able to get it for free from somebody to give it a try. And so, wow, what a great episode, Tristin. Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
Being on with us and dropping all those golden nuggets and letting us see your passion, and it's heartwarming, and it's just a wonderful thing to be part of. And
I agree.
So I thank you so much for coming in, and have yourself an incredible day. Safe travels getting to your next destination.
Thank you.
Rock and roll the show. We look forward to seeing those videos and recording.
Yes.
Rock and roll hoochie coo, like Rick Derringer and Johnny and Edgar Winter right there. Loaded mama, light my fuse.
Yeah.
Little Gene Simmons. You're a little better looking than that ugly old bastard, but I got to give him credit. He's a legend. What am I gonna do? But you rock that hardcore.
Yeah,
I love it.
thank you.
So
I gotta go to the bathroom, you guys. I gotta pee. I've been drinking all this water.
God bless you. Likewise. Hey, giddy up. One love. Good having you. Really an honor and a pleasure. Look forward to having you down the line. The meanwhile, continued blessings. Do what you do, sister. Keep making that splash so everybody else gets a taste of that ripple. You know what I mean? They don't know where it came from, but they dig the wave.
Planting seeds all the time.
That's it, man. All right. Hey.
As usual, everybody that's listening in, don't forget your hugs and your HooDeeHoooo. And we are going to change the world. How are we doing it?
One glass of 9.5 at a time.
HooDeeHoooo! Love you, kids. Have yourselves an awesome day, and we'll see you on the next go-round.
The show rocked. That's
Much
right.
love.
All right. Word.